Well, he attack me. But Jayden Chase, they have to make the fans them know what really are going on.
What you talking about? Is Jayden place? See me up to the time, a cartel. I represent for Jayden Chase. We spray them face on the AK race. See me up to the time, the Gaza station.
Yeah, man, now move settings nation. And we no need no ladder. Now welcome to the channel. Your man Jayden Chase, and now we're gonna bring another exciting and yet important reasoning on the topic of dancehall, entertainment, and also current affairs. So if you're new to the channel, just a pass through, but you like the reason and of course you like the point of view, well, I'm suggesting to you that you click the subscribe icon and then kick in the like button. Now let's get right into the reasoning. Now recently viewers and subscribers, there's some people in the comment section that ask, so what does that mean now that the experts are here and the phone is now being examined? Why wasn't this done long ago, and what is the significance of this process taking place now? Well, to put it in simple terms, nation, it was a courthouse battle to which Vybz Kartel and his defense team was named the winners. I'm going to say big up to Mr. Buchanan and his team for their relentless pursuit of justice in this matter. Now I'm going to hear from him himself, and then we're going to continue the reasoning. Look and listen.
When we get there, certainly it changes the dynamics, because it's about, the case is about technicality, admissibility of evidence, and so that changes the fabric of what's before the court. Certainly, we have been through a lot trying to get access to that phone, and a lot of controversy surrounding it. It helps for the review at the final court of appeal.
Yes, nation, now let's continue the reasoning. Now, based on the type of attorney that Isaac Buchanan is and the type of cases that he has successfully defended, and now based on this case and the countless malpractice, constitutional violations, court offenses, so-called witness statement changes, the prosecutors know this is a sharp turn from the defense angle of the Tom Tavares-led defense team. Based on the nature of the offenses of the prosecutors and the Vybz Kartel's case, Isaac Buchanan is the best defense attorney for this situation at the local level. We are not going to speak at the international side as of yet. The focus of this video is to explain the significance of what is currently taking place as we speak, and the significance of this as it speaks to the common man and his access to justice and the protection of his given rights, which are constantly being put on hold in the Jamaican society. Do you know that when a parish is essentially under Zozo restrictions, majority of your constitutional rights are suspended to facilitate what the state calls special operations? Recently, there was a tactic being done by members of the security forces, requesting individuals to hand over their mobile phones so that they could go through them. That is against the law. If these cases weren't documented and talked about, majority of individuals in the streets would not know this. They would have feel like it's a violation of their right to privacy. But because the security forces are asking you, some would just do it. What took place in the trial phase of Vybz Kartel's case, and also what took place in the appeal, lots of those procedures were unconstitutional. And without situations like this, people would not know. And because the media is owned, they have to know where you get your news from. These things are not widely discussed. So in simple terms, this is a major milestone, viewers and subscribers. Something that the defense team has been working towards for many months now. And as I said, all the roadblocks were put in place by the office of the DPP. We don't know it was signed off by. As a matter of fact, we do know. The DPP herself did say, based on her recommendation, she recommended that the device not leave the island, knowing that the restrictions that were about to be put in place on the Caribbean She knows that at one point in time the borders would be closed and we would not be accepting visitors of any kind. So it was almost like a delay tactic, another roadblock. But think about it. This was a recommendation. The registrar did not have any boundings to follow the recommendation. They chose to do that. But we'll not get into that just now. Just pointing out though, the DPP made a recommendation and the court decided to go with that recommendation. But think about it. She's the lead prosecutor for Jamaica. You know what I mean? So obviously the Jamaican court system would take a recommendation into high consideration. But why would you do that? Seeing that you have already documented all of the evidence that you needed. You have even used it. So what would be the hold up? Based on what Isaac Buchanan said, it's because they know what they have done. They know about the numerous violations of constitutional rights. Rights to privacy is a very serious situation in this day and age. But don't want you feel like it's a simple situation. A while ago I point out the fact that security force members wanted to access people's devices without their permission, to which lawmakers themselves had to address the issue and say no, at no point is this police procedure. Why you ask? Because it is against your constitutional right to privacy. And violations of this nature should not be looked at lightly, whether locally or internationally. One thing though we know for sure, in a first world court of law, this case would have never been even prosecuted by a prosecutor. I'm going to point that out to people right now. If this entire situation occurred overseas, as a matter of fact, if this situation was looked at through the eyes of justice locally, I'm not talking about a first world rule of law. I'm talking about even based on our local rule of law, this case should have never even been prosecuted. Let's just put that into focus. Zoom up on that. There was no evidence. No forensic evidence. This started with a statement of an individual saying that something took place at a particular location. When that particular location was visited, there was no forensics. That means no DNA. There was no trace of any cleaning agent used to clean up the scene. Nothing. Based on that alone, even if the investigating officers wanted to push the case, the DPP should have said no. Enough not there, so. I say them old man we have people personal property upon them, like them ID and them wallet. Somebody that is missing. The girl, she's missing. Miss Dean is missing. And her personal belongings were found on 2 individuals. And the prosecutor said that was not enough to go with. But you gotta go with somebody's statement who was proven untrue. And he was proven untrue by science. And as somebody found out and discredited his statement, and a science disproved his statement, and them still move forward. This was a major judicial blunder. And that's what the UK judges might say too. They might say, what kind of case is this? Because definitely in this case, it seems like the prosecutor had a disconnect with what is considered the law. Seeing that she was not the one who gathered the evidence. She was not the lead investigator on the team. However, when the evidence was presented to her, she knew the difference between admissible evidence and evidence that is not. And she also knows that if it's not discovered, then I guess we can't say it's on the up and up. But remember, the teacher has a strong legal defense team. It's just that the judge focused for some reason, and now that he's retired and unable to be located, we've never heard his side. Why was it that the motions being filed, being disregarded? And Isaac Buchanan was on that defense team too, watching and seeing all of what was taking place, documenting everything. Freedom is a must. Them know this. Talk to me in the comment section. I know how you feel. I know how you feel about the whole situation. As I say, this have to clear up all the people may ask, what's the significance of what is now taking place? You know what I mean? But the one called Jayden Chase, the dancehall correspondent, the Gaza representative. I send remind them now if you're new to the channel, new to the movement, just a pass through. But you like the reason, of course, you like the point of view. Well, I'm suggesting to you that you click the subscribe icon and the bell icon right after that and put it on all. And this is how you know will be notified of all fresh content as soon as fresh content is uploaded and made available for you right here on the platform. You know, move settings, fam. And my sentiments for you and yours are for to live, love, and prosper until we reason again.